Hopefully you found those closed questions very helpful. Let's take a look now at their twin open questions. So open questions encourage longer answers with fewer constraints, and they usually begin with one of these very familiar words: why, what, how, or describe. Open questions, they tend to be the good guys of the bunch, whereas closed questions are the dark knights of the world, where open questions, I kind of picture them like Superman versus Batman. So when we're looking at these, why they have such a good reputation is that what we're doing when we're asking them is getting the learner to think and reflect. We're getting them to give us their opinions and their feelings, and they also give control of the conversation to the respondent. And we're taught as teachers that that's a really good thing. I'm not here to disprove that. It is in fact a really good thing. So let's just look at why each of those are fantastic. Asking the learner to think and reflect is a really good way to get them using critical and creative thinking skills. Getting them to give their opinions and feelings is boosting their talk time, building rapport with you, and also building context for the materials so that they understand them a little bit better in the context of their life. And finally, giving control of the conversation to the respondent is also a really good way to get the learner engaged and to give, metaphorically at least, a hands-on approach to the learning. So it doesn't just feel like you are guiding them by a ring in their nose through these lessons. You are giving them the freedom to explore. It's like if you're a parent, you bring your kid to a park, you sit on the bench, you watch them from a distance as they go play and run, catch butterflies, all that kind of stuff. You aren't having them on a leash, and children they thrive in that kind of environment where they can explore for themselves. A little bit of a drawback, just to note though, is that it does mean that if you ask only open questions, the time can get away from you. That time management is just something that is always really tricky. And sometimes there are just times where it's not appropriate to ask an open question because you are looking for a very specific answer. But what I really like to do is to build and layer with the closed questions, and then at the end of that, boom, ask an open question. They have the foundation, you've guided them into this particular realm where they need to start exploring what this concept means, and then they're able to grab it. It's like the step ladder, and they can grab that apple, but they have to do the work to grab the apple themselves and understand that that's what they're doing in the first place. So open questions are fantastic. Let's take a look at some of them. And here you have another 7 that you can effectively use in your classroom. So we got our compare and contrast questions, interview questions, follow-up questions, cause and effect questions, clarification questions, self-reflection questions, and analysis questions. So just the same as the closed questions before, please take your time and look through these, take your notes, and see how that you can use them effectively in your classroom. And I really hope that they spark some good ideas about how to integrate good question asking practices into your own classroom.